Welcome back to Nuggets and Pearls. This week, everybody, we got a question for you. It's a good one because everybody gets confused by this one a lot early on in their journey in lifting. What is the difference between powerlifting and weightlifting? It appears here we have two names and two totally different things. Mike, you want to lead off?
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of confusion. People are like, is that the one where you do the snatch? And is that the one where the weight goes straight overhead? Yeah, so weightlifting is the competition where you do the snatch and clean and jerk. Powerlifting is the squat, bench press, and deadlift, sometimes a bicep curl. Is there something?
That's not okay. There are odd meets where curls can be included, but then again, weightlifting gets weird too because there's one-arm snatch events and all that. But I think the real confusing part is that
when
people
did that
see
happen
there
recently?
are odd events, not officially, but there are odd events competed where Klokov just did a video of a one-arm snatch. You call me a liar?
In a competition?
And he's Klokov. Well, no, a competition of a manliness competition in his gym, shirt bearing and Instagram and all that. But the problem here is people see power maybe in powerlifting, and they think power like you get out of the weightlifting movements, and maybe that is part of the problem, right?
Well, the distinction is with the word power. Most people in the CrossFit community, they associate a high power workout with doing a whole lot of work in a short amount of time, but they're talking about average power. Talking about doing the most work over the course of 15 or 20 minutes. What you end up learning about weightlifting is that if you look at peak power, how much work you do in like a quarter second or something like that, that the snatch in particular and the clean and jerk, they are the highest peak power movements that you can basically do out of all the movements available. So once you learn that, then it seems weird to call powerlifting and not weightlifting.
So if you're confused, it's for a pretty good reason.
Yeah, it's essentially misnamed. Powerlifting should be weightlifting.
Powerlifting was named for everybody who is interested. Hey, how'd that come about then? Well, before we understood what power was in these lifts, it was just like, power, raw, okay, that kind of sounded cool. I mean, basically, I guess that's why it stuck. And I guess the work you're referring to, Doug, would be, was John Garhammer, the great studier of the Olympic lifts, and also a great physicist who, I think he first measured power amounts accurately, maybe in the snatch. I think it was one of his papers. He's
certainly one of them. I'm not sure if he was the very first to measure peak power output from the Olympic lifts. He very well may have been, but it's probably him or Schilling or Fry or Kramer or one of those guys. Yeah. But yeah, when you do measure the values, the peak power you get from the second pull on snatches and cleans is the highest peak power output out of almost all movements in any sport.
A little hip extension?
hip extension, that's right.
And a 1-rep max for like bench press, squat, or deadlift is actually a high force movement. So it should be called force lifting. And weightlifting should be called powerlifting.
Well, the other problem is people here.
If you're not already confused enough.
In all fairness, I don't want to be called hey, what do you do, Chris? I'm a force lifter.
The thing is, had they started
startup religion or something.
Had they started force lifting back in the day, it would seem normal to be a force lifter now.
This is what a Jedi Knight is. Jedi Knights are force lifters.
Ooh.
But also people just hear weightlifting and they just think picking up any weights.
So they think it's weight training or resistance training. So
I can never talk about the clean and the snatch and the jerk and just say weightlifting without people being like, oh, using dumbbells or anything.
Right. A lot of times people will know that that's the case, but they'll say Olympic lifting just because they know other people don't know. Then they look like they don't know, even when they do know.
Trickle down dumbness.
Yeah. The only time I ever say weightlifting is when I'm speaking to an audience that probably knows. If I know that they don't have an idea, if I'm speaking to all beginners in a CrossFit fundamentals class, and it's just a bunch of random people that they've heard about CrossFit like once or twice. They came in to try a fundamentals class. They don't know what weightlifting is. They don't know what powerlifting is. They think the kettlebells are still called kettlebells and things like that. Then for them, I'll say the Olympic lifts or the Olympic movements like you would see in the Olympics, and I'll specify the snatch and the clean and jerk. But really, weightlifting is what it's actually supposed to be called. But it is very confusing because a lot of people, when they say weightlifting, they think you're talking about bodybuilding.
Yep.
Last thing you want is a case of kettlebells.
I like to say Olympic style weightlifting, and then just avoid word weightlifting and say snatch and clean and jerk. It's so hard. Why can't we get everyone on the same page? Just weightlifting is snatch and clean jerk, and powerlifting is the bench press, squat, and deadlift.
Can we rename it now here on Nuggets and Pearls?
What are we going to rename it?
All right, so force lifting. Sorry, guys. It's force lifting.
Force lifting.
May the force be with
Dude,
you.
you could start a federation for force lifting, and you could be the first.
What a great idea for powerlifting. I don't like the ways things are, so I'll start my own federation. It's never been
Not
done
even a
before.
federation. It's like a whole new sport
Yeah.
where you happen to do the same movements, but it's called force lifting, and you could be the one and only, the first.
I will set all the
The
records.
father
up
of
front.
force lifting.
All the records will be mine at the first meet. I'll be the only one there lifting.
World
We're
record
going to hold
holder.
a meet. We're
so-
holding
okay.
a meet right here on Saturday.
That takes about that's renaming powerlifting. How do we rename weightlifting now? What are we calling it?
Powerlifting.
That's what it should be called.
We're basically getting kicked out of our
Powerlifting.
apartment as powerlifters, and the new tenants walking in.
All right. Hopefully we've confused you.
Well, I was going to say, now I think, oh, the whole world goes sigh of relief side, because now this is all sorted out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this episode of Nuggets and Pearls, you can go to barbellshrugged.com, and guess what? There are upwards of 12 episodes of Nuggets and Pearls on there now, each one nailing a question like we just did. Any other thoughts?
I think that's perfect.
Well done, fellas.
May the force be with you. Shaka, bro. Join the conversation every week after the episode over at barbellshrugged.com. This is also where you'll find new episodes of Barbell Shrugged, Technique Quad, Nuggets and Pearls, Barbell Business, Get Change, plus new articles every day on our daily blog, written by us, guests of the show, and some of the biggest names in strength and conditioning. So, go there and leave a comment now.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that's so cool! Yay! That's so awesome!
Did you like this video? If so, subscribe to our channel and share this with your friends.
And if you want even more free, awesome resources to help you reach your fitness goals, plus some updates that we only share over email, head over to barbellshrugged.com and sign up for the newsletter.